Welcome, everybody, to the Velo podcast. Today is an auspicious day because it is my first time hosting. Logan is out doing the Tour de France thing. It's just me and Lisa here today. Mike, I don't know where he is. He's nursing wounds somewhere, but it's just us. And we're going to talk about the Tour de France. We're going to talk about the Tarmac SL9, not the SLA, even though they do look quite similar. And we're going to talk about Eurobike because I just got back from Eurobike. Lisa, I think you should kind of start us off. You're talking about this French kid that everybody is bonkers over at the Tour.
First off, my entire personality is the Tour de France for the next 3 weeks. So it's all the things that I can think about. And Paul Sextus is the guy. So if you don't know, Paul Sextus is on Decathlon, and I will shout out to the Escape Collective because they do call it Chigga Chiggum, which I'm really into. So because the team name is Decathlon.
We don't shout them out here. That's
I suppose.
Off limits.
So the Decathlon team, which is a French team, has this dude who's 19 years old who is a true phenomenon. So if you want to get on the hype train, it is the Paul Sextus hype train. It is his first Tour de France. It's going to be amazing.
So why are we not on the Tade hype train? Are we not there? Like, did we jump ships?
Care.
What happened?
It's just boring. Like, everyone knows it's a fight for third. Like, first and second is wrapped up. There's no news there. It's one of these two guys, and I think everyone's kind of looking at Tade to be the guy. So we'll see in 3 weeks if that's the right prediction. But third is very exciting. Now, I don't know that Paul Sextus is going to get third. Maybe if he wins a stage. Okay, here's my crazy tinfoil hat. He wins on Bastille Day, which would be amazing. Then everyone loses their mind.
Yes.
But again, I don't know. We'll see. If he wins a stage, period, I think that would be just major, major news.
So we're not expecting him to actually challenge for anything real necessarily. We're still Tade's Tade, and that's who we think is going to win. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the guy's 19 years old. It's his first Tour de France ever. I think, again, I haven't really done a lot of Tour de France's, so, I can't speak from personal experience, but I'm gonna kind of assume you have to have done it a couple times to maybe figure this thing out to then have a good shot at actually putting it together. But what do I know?
I mean, I don't know that you have to. It's not impossible, but yeah, I think that's the deal. It's experience probably helps.
Yeah, someone in the comments who's the Wikipedia of Tour de France history, tell us if anyone has won the Tour on the first time that they've ever done it. I don't know. Maybe someone did.
Maybe someone. I'm not the Wikipedia of that.
Yeah.
So that's for sure. Are there any Tade storylines that people maybe should think about as if he's, we're thinking he's number one, so is he going to set records?
I don't know that that's going to happen, but I think when you look at UAE, it's always a little bit of drama. There's always, you look at Visma and everyone is very clear in their role and what they're doing, and it's Team Jonas. And to be honest, if you watch any social media, Victor Campenarts, he does an amazing job of these vlogs, and he'll tell the storyline of kind of in the bus and everyone sort of homing it out. UAE, again, from the outsider's perspective, it doesn't seem like it's got the same vibe. I think there's a lot of drama. And I know that obviously they are all working for Tade. That is the job. But to get there, it doesn't seem like it's the smoothest line. So I think there's always a little bit of that infighting, what people are trying to win stages and maybe they shouldn't be, or are they doing the jobs that they're supposed to be during that stage? I don't know. Again, it's just... It's not as smooth, I'd say, as maybe some of the other teams, it looks like.
All right. Well, I'm going to actually transition because the Tour, there's going to be a lot of coverage of it soon.
Yeah.
And this is not exactly my strong suit. So I want to actually bring up something. I always like to just, I pay attention to your socials. I'm going to throw this down for U.S. local people. Mount Tam is not that good. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Damn. I get, yeah, okay.
This is a San Francisco thing, so it's a very regional, but I know where you were posting about Mount Tam, and it's just so much traffic. What is I ride in places where people go, "Oh, this is really great." And I go, "Yeah, it's great if there weren't all these cars here. It would be fantastic."
That's true.
Thoughts?
I mean, yeah, so, if you are in San Francisco, there's a thing called Tam Week, and where we essentially climb Mount Tam for 5 days in a row. It's a company called Ornaut. They make really great bike kit, and Tam Week is something that they sponsor. Uh, I mean, there's cars everywhere. Cars are just a part of road cycling, and I kind of take the opinion that it's just part of how you need to navigate this world, right? Like, I know a lot of people love gravel because they get away from the road and all of this. I feel like navigating with cars is actually part of the fun of road cycling. It makes you a better bike handler. It gives you the ability, you'll hold a line. Nothing will teach you how to hold a line quite like having a bunch of cars ripping next to you. Absolutely. I could pin it on a very straight line nowadays. But yeah, I think it's just, you got to pivot your perspective. Otherwise, you're going to have a horrible time forever. Like, cars are everywhere. There's no world where you can get away from them.
I mean, I ride on farm roads in Oregon. There's cars, but,
Okay.
like, I can go 30, 45 minutes without seeing a car sometimes.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
just gonna throw
Yeah,
that
no.
out there.
We don't have that life.
Now, also, I do wanna bring up something. This is not where I saw this going, actually. However, you bring up a good point about cars just in general. I'm gonna throw a little life lesson, out to people who are riding amongst cars. If you are coming up to a turn, a
Mm.
intersection, move into the traffic lane, people, because this is where I see accidents, crashes, if you will, happen all the time. People are in a bike lane and they try to go through the intersection in they have the right of way. They're doing the right thing. But cars don't expect you. They're not looking for you. Just move into the traffic lane. If people yell at you, they don't generally run into you, so you're good.
Mhm. That is such a pro tip. I mean, I've seen so many. I like to ride with the assumption that I'm a ghost. Like, I just don't exist because cars just don't see you. There's this thing, I think it's called like windshield, I don't know, something or other, where they just like forget other people exist. And yeah, you're right. If you do move into the lane, then you just aren't going on the assumption that you exist. Like, don't just assume you're a ghost, and like, then you'll be fine. And that no one will ever see you, even if you're like wildly waving your hand to signal or whatever. Just, take up
Yeah.
space, people. Own the
Just
road a
take up
little.
space. Absolutely. Just get right in the center of the lane and, move over when it makes sense, but intersections are tricky.
Mhm.
Also, don't salmon in and out of
Oh,
parked cars. Take your space and then move over when it makes sense.
geez. We should pivot the podcast to pro tips of road riding.
Yeah, I did this is not where I expected this to go, but, I find it a peculiarity of San Francisco in particular that the riding is so amazing, but, like, it's beautiful, and you're riding along the coast, and it's so gorgeous, and there's so many cars. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't what is happening here?
It's kinda wild, and now we have these robot cars, so they're these self-driving cars that are everywhere, and half the time I, like, catch myself thanking them, like, "Oh, thanks," like, "Thanks for letting me in," and it's just like this empty
It's just a
car
robot.
driving around. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's always cool.
Uh, my son loves to tell me that, there's, like, a huge amount of waste in AI when people thank the robots.
That's smart. Oh, yeah. Oh my
'Cause if
god.
you if
That's it,
you,
just
like
do it!
yeah, well, if you, like, say thank you to like, those are extra characters and extra computing power, and, like, that's a whole thing. I love it. It just cracks me up that,
Oh my god.
they are, like it's like a thing that happens that the amount of energy that is used because people are being polite. But
Yeah.
my wife always says, "When the robot overlords come, she'll be safe and I will not, so be it."
There you go. Thank your robots, people.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you,
man.
robots. All right. Well, speaking of robots, maybe I don't know. Speaking of robots, I just got back from Eurobike. I literally flew in. No, I'm just kidding. That didn't happen this time. I actually had a, some riding that happened between. However, I left the heat wave. I came back home. Now it's time to talk about Eurobike. And I would say what everyone believes is that Eurobike was dead. That was the discussion going into it. And I think DC Rainmaker posted a big, Eurobike is dead thing. Um, you know, I don't know. What do you know about Eurobike in general? Do you have like ideas about Eurobike, Lisa?
I was literally just gonna be like, "So what's Eurobike?"
Ah.
Cool.
Okay.
Enlighten us.
Yes, so Eurobike used to be the premier like event on the calendar for and these events so I've now been to Taiwan, China, Sea Otter this year. I almost always go to Sea Otter. Taiwan and China are new this year for me. But they're basically expos. And I have said this before where I'm like, it's a little there's an element of like, you know, insurance conference to it. Like it's just a expo, but also it's bikes, so it's cool. And Eurobike used to be the biggest. It was huge. It's in Frankfurt, although I think it wasn't always in Frankfurt, but I went maybe 3 years ago and it was in Frankfurt also. And it's like a city block. There is like multiple spaces, multiple floors. There's an outside demo area that is huge. And you can ride whatever crazy thing around. Like, I don't know, it's probably as big as a crit track. I mean, it's big. It's
Wow.
like, yeah, there's like a lot of stuff going on. This year, well, one, the outside was, oof, I did not venture out over 100 degrees every day, but it was down to 3 halls, one of which was like not worth visiting really, OEM stuff. So basically 2 halls, one floor each, and even within those halls, there was more space between the booths, and the edges were closed off. And I'm trying to think. Oh, and the outside area. The outside area was much smaller also. So now that you have an idea,
Okay, so
do you think
so
that it means something?
well, I mean, I'm curious, is it like Sea Otter like, is there a big announcement? Like, was there any big, exciting bikes that got released? Or, like, what was the news that really you took away from the whole thing?
It used to be like Sea Otter. It used to be
Mm,
bigger than Sea Otter. There would be all the major European manufacturers would have big announcements. Like all the brands were there, and
mhm,
there would always be, you know, just like Sea Otter, there would be a ton of announcements. This year, not so much. Most of the major brands were not there. I think the big one now, I did see, Ridley, their new, it's the Kanzo Fast 2.0. It's the or whatever it's gonna be called, and it's not actually out yet. We saw it race at, I thought it was raced at Unbound, but I think it only raced at, the Tracka,
oh,
and
okay, yeah.
it's just, it was there on display and, they had all the information about it basically. Um but the big one, and I think this is sort of an interesting thing, is that Canyon, who had not been in 10 years at least, something like that. I asked them, like, how long has it been? They said, basically forever.
Mhm,
They had this huge display with this crazy uh, concept bike, like not a
yeah.
rideable bike, just this 3D printed bonkers thing with everything integrated and cameras and
Yeah, because I saw a picture of it, and there was, like, an LED in the handlebar or something? Like, I don't know what was happening there.
yeah. So it's now there's a woman. who has,
Oh,
she had self-funded. Yes,
yes, I know
you
exactly,
recognize
and
this, right?
she's dude, she uses OnlyFans to, like,
Yes, I find
to
her
yeah,
fascinating.
it's wild. Like, if you're into that stuff, you can check out her Instagram. It's I don't whatever. It is what it is. And you know what? A little bit of respect, like, you do what you gotta do. I get it. Like, she has
Sh
a thing that she's trying to get off the ground, which is like a crazy cockpit handlebar that has all your data screens, like, in the bar, which God help you if you crash. Like, I don't know what happens to the whole thing. Like, you throw away, like, a $2,000 handlebar. I don't know,
Well, I mean, my
but
guess is
whatever.
that the electronics are, sort of separate, but maybe not. I don't know, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
She is fascinating because I find her, like, women's empowerment. She drives a Porsche. She's, like, she has money, and then she's into road cycling, so she, like, invented this thing and self-funded it. Good for her.
Mhm. Yeah,
However
I mean, kinda curious. Yeah. I don't know, that's maybe a bigger conversation, like, women having to sell their bodies in order to fund their business. Is that cool? Is that weird? I don't know, but you know what? People pay, so it is what it is.
uh I don't know that she had to necessarily. I sort of
Well,
feel
she
like she
did use
chose to.
OnlyFans. Yeah, she used that as her path. Yeah, you're right. I guess she coulda got VC funding or something. Anyway, point
I mean,
being,
she might not
Canyon.
have gotten it.
Yeah.
She decided that that was her way to do it. Like,
Mhm.
she didn't wanna be beholden to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is an interesting
Yeah.
this isn't where I saw this going again, but I do find her fascinating for all of these reasons things that it brings up. I have followed her for a long time,
Yeah.
and she's very active on, like, LinkedIn as, like, a business person, which is,
Wow.
again, this fascinating, like, you know,
Mm. Just
uh,
girl bossing it up over there.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's girl bossing it up.
Oh, man.
Um Anyway, so I only bring that up really because it sort of feels like Canyon,
Mm.
uh, did the exact same thing in that handlebar. It
Mhm.
looks very similar.
Yeah.
But that's the deal. It has, you look down in the center of the handlebar and there's this display that's sort of buried within the carbon or the plastic in this case, I guess, I imagine. Um, and it's supposed to show you, all your stats and everything, so you don't have to have a different out front mount. And then the whole idea of this bike was all focused around what if we brought the technologies that have been making cars more safe over the last, I don't know, 10 years, and we brought that into bikes. So
Mm.
there's cameras and radars front and rear, and there's also a helmet that they showed that you can use with the bike or with a different bike. DT Swiss had developed some wheels with a hub that has a bunch of information that it feeds to everything. Um, I don't know, Lisa, abomination or
Yeah. Yeah,
cool
well, like,
thing? I don't know.
well, because is it I get it, like, concept actually, I do appreciate and maybe that's something that we don't see enough of, is, like, concept bikes. Like, you think of cars, right? And there's concept cars at car shows, but I don't know, like, at Sea Otter, I didn't see many concept bikes, like, there wasn't a lot of that as far as, like, an innovation or a storytelling, mechanism. So, I can appreciate Canyon doing something like this. I'd be curious what's the outcome? Like, is this tech they're bringing into something that is gonna actually live, or is it just kind of a wank for something to get headlines? I don't know.
What I think is happening here, Lisa, I think, to answer your question, and this is total speculation, I have no idea. If you strip out all the, we'll call it concept car stuff, all the electronics and the craziness, sure looks like a future Canyon bike to me. That looks like the next
Ah,
Aero bike to me.
I see. Okay, because like, it is pretty neat keep me honest, Canyon doesn't actually do any electronic stuff now, like, they don't have radars and cameras and stuff like that.
No. I mean,
Yeah,
it would be
okay.
well outside of their. I don't think the closest any bike brand comes to that is Cannondale, with
Mm,
their Smart Sense system, but most
yeah,
bike brands, because you have to partner with a different company and it's a whole thing, and most bike brands, you add your
yeah,
radar separate, and that's just the thing. But
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just my own reading of this. There were things like I did get, DT Swiss was like, that rear, what did he say? The way that the rear triangle hugs the tire. He's like, that doesn't look very aero. That probably should be rounded. I was like,
Oh, no.
well, no, that's
Awkward.
fine. Well, because it was a concept. So, but then in my head, I was like, huh. Well, he makes a good point. I guess we'll be seeing the next version will be rounded.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god. But wasn't there also, like, I saw your videos, it was like a Burke bike that you really liked? Like, what was the story in that one?
Yeah, so I mean, Burke, do you know Burke saddles? Have you heard of them before, Lisa? Some people
No.
have, some people haven't. Okay. So I've been working with Burke saddles for a long time and I find them fascinating. This guy he was I think a pro tour or pro
Mm,
team racer, pro continental. That's it. I'm messing up the phrasing.
mhm.
He's a pro continental racer. Had some kind of middling success. Not to slam him or anything. More success than I have, but
Both of us
you know,
combined, yeah.
right.
Absolutely.
So, he's a fast guy. He had some wins, but never really went anywhere with that. And he started this company called Burke Composites. And his main thing was saddles, and he has these beautiful saddles that you often see on show bikes. I have one around somewhere that I used, I think in 2019. I rode from Portland to Boise, and I did that on a Fuji SL lightest road bike at the time, and it had this carbon Burke saddle that had no padding. It's just carbon, but
Oh god. Ugh.
it's
Jesus.
actually
No.
quite comfortable because the carbon flexes a lot. And what is your
Ah,
padding
okay.
really doing anyway? It's just, it's
It's
there for
emotional support padding. That's
it's
what it is.
yes, exactly. And he has since built these saddles that have sort of leaf springs in the way that the carbon rails attach, and I mean they're beautiful, just
Mm,
unbelievable saddles. But he has also developed a bike, and he's had that for I've seen it around for a while, although when I talked to him, he said that they had it as sort of like, you know, if you wink and a nod, if you knew a guy that you could maybe get a bike, they had it in not disc, rim brake also. And this time it's like kind of as production as it would get. And
mhm.
it's some people ask I said in the video, I said it's a bike about ride feel, and people were like, "Well, why didn't they make it super light or super aero or like whatever?" But I think they're just a tiny company. It takes a lot to
Mm,
they just built a bike he wanted to build. It takes a lot to make an aero bike or even a lightweight bike. But
yeah.
it's a beautiful bike. I mean,
It looks cool. I mean, I'm curious why he was even there. I mean, if you're such a small manufacturer to go all the way to Germany, that's pretty big investment.
oh well, it's probably not so hard for him to get there because
Oh,
I
okay.
forget, Slovenia maybe where he's
Mm.
from, somewhere
Oh, I
nearish
see.
by.
Okay. Got it.
That
Alright.
said, I think you're maybe slow pitching me the bigger storyline,
There you go.
which is that I think there's opportunity in it's like by the dip, right?
Mm,
No one was there. All the big brands were gone. There was not a constant news cycle, and yet there
mhm.
were journalists, myself included, there to report on things that were interesting. So who got the reporting? Burke, which might not have gotten reporting. Canyon dominated because what else are you gonna report on? They had a crazy bonkers bike that, like,
Yeah.
obviously you're gonna talk about.
And was anyone else there that was like it was kind of a surprise? I loved your buy the dip analogy in that article. I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, were there other ones there? I mean, Ridley being willing to be like,
Mhm.
"Hey, this is the new bike." We're not they actually
They're
I
like,
was in the
Here's a bike."
Yeah, I was in the booth, and the marketing guy was like, "Yeah, it's the Ridley Kenzo 2.0." And somebody else was like, "Are you allowed to say that?" And he's like, "Whatever, doesn't matter." The guy's here. He's like, "I'm talking to him now. It's fine. It'll be out soon. Whatever. We're calling it
Oh,
the Ridley
God.
Kenzo 2." So
Oh,
that
man.
was sort
Eurobike,
of funny.
here for the vibes. That's it. It's just
Yes.
like all norms are thrown out the window. Whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I did see coverage from other outlets and stuff like, what was it, a ceramic brake pad or something? Like, it seemed
Oh,
like
yeah, I
they
had
were,
that one. Yeah.
yeah. Well, tell me about it, because it looked interesting, but also to your point, it's like, man, we're talking about brake pads now? Holy jeez, there must not have been a lot of news there. Like, wow.
There was not a lot of new I mean, yeah, there's the positive and the negative. I'm walking around the show floor, like, I did the video the first day, and, I felt like I had a, like, quality video. There was a few more things that if I had, you know, part of the game with this stuff is you gotta get that video out the first day. The
Mm,
faster you can get that video out, the better. So you sort of do what you can to find what you can and put it in the video, and then you have to move on. And,
mhm,
if I had more days and more hours in the day, I probably would have included more things. But after that first day, well, then it started to be a little like, "Ooh, what are we going to talk about?" And I'm wandering around. Um, However, part of that led to this other article that I'm really quite proud of, which I discussed the canyon by the dip thing in this article, but a big part of that article, which was about women in cycling and how there was actually energy there, and I think people were ignoring that. I think
mm,
people didn't pay attention to it. People didn't go to the summit, or whatever you wanna call it, the panel.
mm.
I don't actually know what it was called. People it was like a networking breakfast, but then also
Ah,
there were speakers that got up and talked during the thing. And there was, like, a lot of energy there. The seats were full. Gary Fisher was there. There
wow.
was, like, yeah, he was, like, hanging out in the seats and, talking to people, and now, granted, Gary Fisher always talks to people, but that's okay.
It's cool.
Have
So so wait, now what was who was hosting the panel? What did obviously they talked about women in cycling, but, like, what was the whole point of it?
Yes, so it was, what was the name? You actually read the article. Fill me in here.
Yeah.
What was the name of the group, if you remember?
Uh, I don't
Uh
remember, but I do know that it was about women in cycling, and it was all about, helping sort of break down barriers and really, I think it from what I took from it, empower local retailers and, people that are gonna get, like, the touch points to the consumer and give them some points and tips about how they can invite this new audience in. Because at the end of the day, it's a whole lot of people with a whole lot of money that can buy your stuff. The end.
Yeah,
Again,
I went to go try and find the official name, and they all have different, like, the people I talked to, each one has their own thing, so I don't actually
mm,
remember the name of the overall group, but as you
yeah.
said, it's all about women in cycling, and the way that they have chose to look at it is like, "Hey, you're ignoring money." Like, there's money people, like, women are half of society, and
Mhm.
they have money to spend, they care about cycling, and they're not being served.
I have never understood how bike brands and maybe clothing and apparel brands as well don't get how much money women are willing to spend on stuff. Honestly, like it blows my mind. Being a woman myself in cycling, like endless amount. Like if you make cute kit, women will buy that. They will buy the shit out of it. And I think it's just like, it seems like so obvious to me, and yet never seems to get any traction anywhere. I get it. Like, obviously, there's a bell curve of like how many people are actually into cycling and then into a point where you're going to buy like $300 bibs. But yeah, man, it just people. If you look at run clubs and how popular those are, and how much people will spend and invest in apparel and gear to participate. And I mean, I'm not a runner, so maybe some runners can keep me honest here, but it seems like all you need are some shoes and clothing. Like, unless you need, I don't know, a belt or some extra bloody blah, but like it doesn't seem as complex as biking. Biking, you need a lot of stuff, you know? Helmets and shoes and this and that and blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely. Now there are nearly entire magazines dedicated to shoes, basically, for
Yeah.
running. But
Again, not a runner, folks. Don't know
uh,
much about it, so not my thing.
I was looking there. I was getting distracted because I was, as you're talking about when you mentioned kits, immediately my mind jumps to, I think it's Gelanu, or do you say it with a Y? Yelanu?
Oh, yeah, I don't know actually how to say that. Yeah,
I
but
think
I
it's
know the one you
Gelanu.
mean.
Anyway, the
Yeah.
reason that I thought of it is now I wanted to check before I slammed them, but um, because there's this other aspect of like I want things made for women to be good, to be as at
Mm,
the level. I don't want it to be dumbed down. Now, I'm
yeah,
a dude
that's fair.
talking about this, but the reason I mentioned Gelanu is because when they first talked to me, I remember like a few years ago, they didn't have any kind of drop system for their bibs. And I was like,
Mm,
I'm not mentioning this. I'm not going to talk about this. It doesn't make any
mm,
sense. Um,
yeah. I will shout out
s-
Samsara is a Canadian women-owned bike brand, and, with inclusive sizing too. Like, that's the other thing. I think if you're gonna sort of cater to an audience, you gotta cater to the whole audience as well, and so, I think they've done a really good job, and they're a new company, and they're just kinda getting going and stuff, but, like, it's pretty cool to see how they're entering this market, and I think doing it in a way that feels really authentic, and also, like, their kit is really nice, like, it's good quality, it looks great, and, like, I mean, I have a few pairs of their bibs, and they feel awesome, so
all
yeah,
right.
they're not I don't know, but to be fair, I haven't used this Gelanu stuff, I've seen it around and, you know but, like, getting back to the point of what was it? 980, like, bajillion
Euros.
dollars?
It's
Yeah.
980 billion euros in Germany alone, I think they said.
Holy cow,
It's a
that's
lot of money.
wild.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Dang.
money. And but okay, so here's what I got distracted by the Gelanu thing, but here's what I found was really fascinating to me was a couple of the things that this woman that I interviewed talked about different communication style. And she said that women tend to operate much more on word of mouth and like personal word of mouth versus like they read a thing read a forum and then go. It's much more like tight knit community. And also, what I found this is maybe even more fascinating, partly because I work with you and I have spoken with Suki quite a bit from Escape Collective, and I see these slight differences that I didn't notice, which is about the way that tech is communicated. Men can get very, like, granular, very detail-oriented, and women tend to be a little more macro in that, like and, correct me if yeah, whatever. This is how I took the what I
Yeah.
learned from this one woman that I talked to
Yeah.
and interviewed,
Yeah.
what it was she was like, "Women tend to talk more about the overall experience." And what came up to me, the reason I found this so fascinating is because I have always felt like one of the things that was missing in a lot of bike journalism was the focus on the overall, the macro, like, hey,
Mm.
we actually ride this bike and
Yeah.
this technology allows for this experience. And I see that discussion much more in your writing than mine. And it's something that I always appreciated.
You're just a nerd, that's all. Just big old nerd, Josh.
I
No,
am.
it's but it's true, like, I mean, I think that's just the way obviously, like and not to stereotype, I get it, there's probably a lotta women and, folks out there that get real detail-y and so we're not trying to generalize, but I would agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think riding bikes is something that you feel, and at least in my bike reviews, I try to like bring that across and then hopefully translate that to something that is a rationale as to why it is doing that. But hell, I'm even the person, I don't know if other folks can identify with this, but like I won't even give you like north-south directions. I'll be like, well, it's like this way, and there's a gas station, and then you go left at the thing, and then other people are like, oh yeah, it's like 5 miles north to a blah, 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 blah. Like, so I don't know, man. It might just be one of those like macro trends and how different people approach stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think it is pretty cool. The other thing I liked in that article was that they were talking about creating like whether it's seminars or different opportunities to, I think, invite people in to the cycling industry. Because I think that's the biggest barrier, at least for folks that don't see themselves in the bike culture right now, right? Like, it's a very intimidating sport, and I don't think it does a great job of making it easy to enter, right? Bikes are complicated. All the crap you got to wear. Half the time, people don't know how to wear clothes. Like, I know that sounds dumb, but like, they're wearing helmets backwards, or they're like not, I don't know, you don't have proper kit and all this sort of stuff, which
I see the helmets
before you freak out,
quite
yeah.
high all the time, which I want to tell people
Or like,
that's your personality right in the front that you're not protecting. Maybe just bring your helmet down a
yeah.
little bit.
Or
Also,
like chin straps that are
yeah,
super loose and
super
stuff like
loose.
that.
And
And don't
socks.
get me
Can we
wrong.
talk about socks?
Oh God. I mean,
I'm just
I want to
kidding.
make the point that I could care less. Wear a t-shirt and jeans for all I care. I mean, if it gets you out on a bike, knock your socks off. That's not what we're saying is wrong. I think at the end of the day, cycling is really bad at welcoming new people into the community because it creates this vibe that's very, I don't know, like kind of snotty. Like, I don't know, what would you call it? Because I know you know what that feels, that like thing.
Yeah, I think it's just intimidating. And people
Yeah.
think, well, here's the thing. I'm gonna flip this around actually, is that I think that in my own experience, bikes as a like group or a thing is like
Mhm.
incredibly welcoming in terms of you get to fly your weird flag and
Mm,
be celebrated for that, but people don't expect that. Like,
mm,
that's not society. So then they think they're gonna do it wrong. Like, they sort
mm.
of prejudge. Also, it doesn't help that, of course, there are people around the edges that absolutely prejudge and are not nice, and it
Yeah,
just happens.
that's true. And I think that's why things like gravel are so popular, because it all of a sudden, the barrier to entry is gone. Like, it doesn't feel like as intimidating as road cycling. Like, I think road cycling still has this, like, old school mammal roady BS around it, whereas gravel, you just show up in your bandana and your jorts and, like, you're like, "Yeah, man, we're having a vibe," and everyone's just, like, being cool. Now, the question being, is that gonna go away as gravel racing and culture sort of evolves, and one might say is almost closer to road cycling culture than it used to be, like gravel culture?
I would say there's also one more thing that I have seen happen with road cycling is that drivers, i.e., men, are much more comfortable harassing women on the road. And so, like, I'm not like a big intimidating guy, but I certainly get less harassment than many women tell me that they experience.
Mhm.
Um, and that's just an element of gravel cycling. It's not just an element of there's less cars, so like cars are annoying. I find cars
Mhm.
annoying, and we talked about that. But there's also an element of there's not some dude in a car harassing women. So
Yeah.
it's a sad
To be
state of
fair,
things, but I do think it is an element there.
I will definitely see cars harassing just about anyone, to be honest. I just don't I wish it was like, sadly, I think it's everybody and not necessarily just women, but yeah, it's not great.
It's true. Although I think that I feel more comfortable turning around and having some words with the driver.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. Um, well, speaking of which, so then what's your next well, first off, did we wrap up we took a long walk there, but any other thoughts
Yeah, we
from
did.
Eurobike? Yeah, exactly. We took a giant detour, but that's okay. So, Eurobike,
We
anything
took a
else?
giant tour. No, I think that's the main thing here is that, yeah, Eurobike is smaller. There's an element of, like, is the Chinese cycling, is that where the energy is? I mean, it clearly is to an extent, but what does that mean? I don't think that European cycling is dying. I just think that there is a shift and think people like new things, so that they're not the new thing, that's the old thing. But then the old thing gets to reinvent itself a little bit, and I do think that's what we're seeing at Eurobike.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll see you back there in 2 years, it sounds like.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. 2 years. Shit. Let's jump into the roadie, like the most
Oh
roadie road
god.
cycling roadie is SL9 tarmac.
Oh my god,
It
I
doesn't get
forgot
more
we were gonna
roadie.
talk about that. Yeah. Oh my yeah. This is like this is the, like, biggest eye roll I have in, like, modern day cycling. I just feel like this is the iPhone whatever, 20, iPhone 35, iPhone like, it's like the same it's just there's no there. But Josh, set the scene, paint a picture, tell us more about the Tarmac SL9.
So Logan actually is the one that did this review. Actually, before we get into this tarmac, I just want to remind everyone that during the Tour de France, our Velo is having a 30% discount. This is my commercial
Oh,
B-roll here,
your
everyone.
live read, yeah?
Velo is This is my live read. I almost forgot, but Velo is having a 30% discount on subscriptions. So if you're tired of hitting that paywall, you want to read more reviews or thought pieces about women in cycling or Tarmac SL9 reviews, you can jump over to Velo, grab yourself a subscription, and that helps us out, helps us provide more content. Love to see you. Okay. Now, Logan did this review of the Tarmac, but I have also ridden it pretty extensively, at least as much as Logan, I think, at this point. And here's the we'll do the macro review. The macro review
Mm,
is it is 4 watts faster than the old one. It is the same weight. I actually looked this morning and there was some talk that it was maybe 40 grams lighter. It's the same weight. It is exactly the
wow.
same weight.
Oh my god.
uh, and it looks almost exactly the same. So what has changed? Or should
I
it have
literally
changed? Or
I literally cannot. I cannot with this bike. Like, I haven't ridden it, so what do I get to say? Like, I get it, but is it just like, first off, where are these 4 watts coming from? Is it the bar? Is it the bike? Is it like, where do they even qualify that, or is it just 4?
They don't qualify it, but based on I'm gonna just pull in a little,
Mm.
I don't have my hobby aerodynamicist, tag today, I forgot to add it, but I'm gonna just pull that in, and I can tell you it does not come from the handlebars, which, is an easy win for a lot of brands these days because they go, "Oh, well, we had 40s or 42s on our last bike, and now we have 38s." Well, that's like a
Mhm.
big, w watt savings. But Specialized didn't do that because Specialized relies on their fit data, and they look at that, and I think they're wrong, quite honestly, because I think they spec bars that are too wide, and
Mhm.
I think that that is something. I'm gonna just throw it back to women's cycling. That is a thing that drives me effing nuts. Is that we don't make bikes with
I
small enough
agree.
bars to fit women, but or even small men. Like
Yeah.
54 is often too wide. But I don't know what to say about that in this case because Specialized is like, well, we have a bazillion data points from a million bazillion fittings, and I'm like, okay, fine, but
Whatever.
those bars are
Yeah.
too wide.
Yeah, 'cause it was
But they're
like
also not. Yeah, go ahead.
well, no, wasn't it like a 40 on a size 48 or 49? Like, the bar was like
Yeah,
a
it's
40.
big.
It seems really big. Like, I ride a 38 on a size 48. Like, you know what I mean? That's just, weird.
Yes. I ride a 38 on a 54, so
Oh, damn. Well, you're just like, so
yeah, just more arrow.
you're all
Uh,
arrow.
all arrow. Also, my shoulders are not that wide.
Oh, there you
I
go.
bet you
Okay.
could go to a narrower bar, but
Oh,
your
jeez.
fit's pretty dialed, so whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Okay, wait, so where are the 4 watts?
Yes, so the 4 watts are coming. I think they're inherently coming from the wheels, are updated, and also there are changes around the front of the bike. They had, the speed sniffer before. This is I know
Mm,
you'll love this.
yeah,
And, the speed sniffer I'm sorry, folks, but the speed sniffer was atrociously ugly, and
it's awful.
they it's awful. They fixed it. Also,
Mm,
Specialized was not the only one that essentially had a speed sniffer. Bianchi on their Specialissima had a speed
mm.
sniffer too, but that one was not atrociously ugly. So it didn't
Oh.
have to be. It was a choice, Specialized.
Ugh,
But
man.
they have now fixed it. They basically just brought the it didn't disappear. They just extended the fork legs and the front of the fork so that like the whole front end is a little bit longer.
Mm,
Um, and then they also did this thing, which roll your eyes or not, but they did all this analysis and they said in winning moments with the tarmac, most of the time world tour riders only have one bottle. Well, that means that when there's only one bottle, the seat tube is essentially the bottle is like an airfoil, right? So
mhm,
if you design for two bottles, then you don't need to like the seat tube can be pretty narrow because you
mhm.
have a bottle there. But if you design for one bottle, well, then they were like, okay, that means we need to make our seat tube wider. And oh, I have to look up this name. Do I have it up? Do I have it?
Oh
It's
god.
the best name. It's
Wait,
the
they gave the seat tube, like, a proprietary name?
it is the wind fin.
Get out of here. I swear to God, I can't. I just literally cannot. Ugh, wow.
The speed sniffer and the wind fin.
Specialized is doing the most with this bike, really, truly.
They
Like,
are.
but you know what? That's impressive. If you can pull this much BS out of your marketing team to make something that essentially looks like the exact same bike that you released, what, a year ago? Like,
No, it's like 3 years
congratulations.
ago, 2 years ago.
Oh,
It's
okay,
longer.
whatever.
They're not 1 year,
Okay,
turnarounds,
fine.
but it doesn't matter. See, your point stands.
It's still like just and I get it. People will buy it, and don't get me wrong, folks. Like if it knocks your socks off and it makes you brings you joy, I mean, Mazel Tov. That's fantastic. But like, Jesus, is it just? Are we at a point where there's nothing left to innovate? Like, is this really what we're left with? 4 watts and a wind fin? Like, good God.
Okay, now I have to play the devil advocate here because I have sat in your seat basically and
Yeah.
said basically the same thing to this guy who is basically responsible for the design of the
Yeah.
SL8 and I think the SL9 as well. Um, and I just said, "You're missing a storyline," which
Mm,
is people buy, a bike like the Factor 1, part of it is you buy that because when you ride that bike, when you rock up to the group ride on that bike,
yeah.
everyone knows it is the fastest bike. And
Mhm.
does that actually matter? I think it does if you choose to buy that bike. However, what Specialized said is, well, we win races. This is how you win races. So what do you want? Like,
Yeah. I
so I
suppose
don't know.
it
What I mean,
I get yeah, I suppose. I guess as a maybe that's the choice, right? You win races with a bike that's moderately optimized from the last one, and it is what it is, and if you as a consumer wanna buy into that, then that's what you get, right? But you can't expect everything to be a giant step change every time. I think from a consumer lens, it seems like you're almost gaslighting us because there's no there, right? Like, you're gonna put a lot of money down for a bike that essentially looks like the same bike from 3 years ago, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem like you're getting anything for that hard-earned cash that you're gonna put out. Like, I guess 4 watts is 4 watts, but oof.
okay, but let's look at it a little bit differently. What is it that you want in a bike? You want a bike everyone wants a bike that rides like a light bike.
Yeah,
You want that bike to
sure.
weigh 5 pounds, built, ready to go, right? Like, it doesn't, obviously, that's
Yeah,
impossible, but, like, that's what you want. You want that feeling you just rode that XDS, that feeling of the way that
yeah.
bike moves under you, that's what you want. And
Mhm,
tangentially, you might also want it to be aerodynamic. Now, a lot of people don't really think of that, but also, if I said, "Well, you can have the light bike and it is fast too," like, you don't have to think about it being aerodynamically
mhm.
optimized, it just is, then I think people would choose that. So, Specialized has done that. This is a I have the S-Works version and ready to ride minus pedals, sealant, everything, out front mount. It is 16.8 pounds, 15 or 16.8 no, hold on, everyone, let's just back up a second here. 6.8 kilograms, 15
Okay,
pounds. That's what I mean to
got
say.
it. Okay, because I was like, "That sucks." But okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Just
Wow,
mixing up
okay.
my
Yeah, yeah. The new math. I
yeah.
mean, that's cool. I don't know. People of the internet, weigh in the comments. Is the SL9 worth is the juice worth the squeeze? Or is it just kind of a marketing tactic of, the latest and greatest without being maybe all that latest or all that greatest? I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, is it this is the whole thing. Is it actually not that latest and greatest?
I mean, I would argue that it doesn't seem like it. But again, if you think about the iPhone, right? Every There was these massive step changes at the beginning of when they launched the iPhone. It was like man invented fire. And then we've gotten to a point where every year now, it's like the most minute change ever. And I feel like that's where we are with this bike. Like it's like micro changes to get you hyped to essentially release something new.
So, I completely agree to an extent, but do we have to hype everybody every time? Like, what's
Yes.
the do
Yes, we
we?
do.
Or do we
Of
just go,
course.
this is a really good bike, and here's the new version that is slightly better in some way. Like, I don't know, it's slightly better because it's more aero? Although maybe that's the question. How is it slightly better? I don't even really know
Yeah.
is the answer
And
here.
then and maybe this is a me problem, but if I'm gonna spend serious money, I need to get hyped for that, right? Like if I'm gonna throw down some major cash, like it has to be for something that feels important, not just like this 3 watts and a what wind fin? Is that what
Yeah,
we're
so
really
a
calling?
win fin. It's fantastic.
Oh, Lord. It's just giving it's giving marketing department. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
bunch of dudes in a room like whiteboarding a bunch of BS that they can like trademark and like put on stuff. And again, don't get me wrong, Specialized is a great bike. I'm sure you guys worked really hard to make this thing. Like it's fantastic. However, I just as a consumer, I can't get hyped for this because it just feels like you're just trying to sell me shit. And it doesn't feel like you're trying to help me do anything because I could just buy the last bike on sale and do the exact same thing.
Okay, let me take it a different direction then. If you don't like the idea of the tarmac because it's too boring, does that mean you want every bike to be the Factor 1, which looks like, people
Okay.
say it looks like it crashed. I mean, I happen to love that
Now
bike,
we
but,
lost
like
now we lost the plot. That factor 1 is like a whole other situation. I mean, I think maybe it just goes down to the fact that I firmly believe that if you're gonna buy a bike now granted, I get it, Specialized is huge, and it's an option for a lot of people because it's super accessible and whatever, whatever. But, like, maybe just do 10% more research and look at what's out there because there's a ton of really great bikes, and especially smaller bike brands that you could explore and maybe find something that's a little more interesting and a little more unique to express a little bit more of your own personality because you don't have to be the fifth person on the group ride with the same exact bike as everyone else.
I literally went on a group ride recently that was like, there were 7 of us. I'm not a group ride kind of
Okay.
person, but 2 of us were on Thai bikes, myself and my buddy. We were both on he was on a Moots, I was on a Lightspeed. Every other
Man of
bike
the
on the ride
people.
was a Tarmac.
Oh,
Yes, man of the
God.
people. But every other bike on the ride was a Tarmac. There was a couple different generations. There was an SL7, uh, mostly SL8s, but, they were all tarmacs. There is
Yeah.
something to be said for that, like, buying based on doing something different. I love to be, like, the one that does something different. But what if your personality is, "I want the best, and I don't care if" I want the Porsche 911 because it's really
Yeah.
good and, you know?
That's cool. Yeah, I don't wanna come off as, like, a Specialized hater, like, I think it's a great bike for a reason, like, obviously, it's got a dominance, like, the World Tour and these guys are absolutely destroying, and I mean, look at Unbound and what they've done on the Crux and, like, all these different races, like, I get it, Specialized makes really, really good bikes. So, it's not that, I think it's just if you do not want to be the person that's doing the exact same I guess maybe my point is that there's a lot of good bikes out there, and I would maybe I should have done more research, but I would assume there's a bike that's just as good as this SL9 out there. You just kinda have to, like, maybe work a little bit harder to find it. I don't know, or is there? Is this the best bike ever made, and then I should just,
There's
like,
not.
stop? Okay,
Well, it's
fine.
not the best bike ever made. It depends on how you're looking at it. Is
Mhm.
your focus on the best all-around bike that just rides like, it just
Yeah.
the Tarmac is a bike that just rides really good. It feels really good. It's
Mhm.
got great compliance. It's super light. It just feels great, and it happens to be also aero optimized, so there's nothing else really that matches that, and
Mhm.
anything that does come close is maybe not the most interesting either. You could talk about the Trek Madone or the Cannondale System 6? I always get it mixed up if it's Super
Oh,
6 or
yeah. No,
System
well, there's
6.
2. There's Super
Well,
6, I think, is the Aero one, and the System 6 is the all-rounder, maybe?
yeah, but
Either way.
they don't make the, Arrow one anymore because just
Oh.
like Specialized this is actually the same thing that Specialized said, which is they don't make the Venge anymore because
Mm,
their all-around bike became just as good.
yeah.
Uh it's the Super 6. Okay, so you're thinking, "Okay, I want a really good all-around bike. I want it to be fast, I want it to be light, I want it to be aero." Um, actually fast and aero, same thing. I want it to ride really well, so then you're like, "Oh, well, am I gonna get a Trek Madone, a Cannondale Super 6?" The Madone, I think you can is this basically the same weight and potentially the same aero as the no, I can't even say that. Independent testing generally puts the Tarmac ahead of the Madone. The Super 6, I think there's not a I haven't seen testing as much, but let's say it's actually faster, but it's heavier. So, I don't know. Are any of these the most interesting? Is the Cannondale like, "Oh, this is drastically more interesting"? A Trek Madone? Is that
Guys,
I
just
don't
buy
know.
a steel bike. Just go be cool. Steel bike with, like, aluminum wheels, you'll be the coolest
Yes.
dude on the group ride,
You will
absolutely.
be the coolest dude on the group ride, and you don't have to compete in that same way.
There you go, see? It's easy. Oh, man. Well, but let us know what you think. Add your 2 cents on the Tarmac SL9 if I'm totally out to lunch or if, you agree with Josh and it's the greatest bike ever made.
Yeah, I think that probably wraps it up. First of all, I did not say it was the greatest bike ever made. I love that. I'm gonna add, do you wish that they had made Avenge?
Mm,
Because I can tell you that I have been told they didn't make Avenge because they Specialized said, "What would you need?" I once had this discussion where they said, "What would you need to have the Venge made?" And I said, like, "How much faster?" And I said, "20 watts." At, like that means, like, 45K or something. And they were like, "That is absolutely impossible." So then for what purpose would they design the Venge? So, I don't know, but let us know. Yeah. Would you ever ride a Tarmac, even though a bunch of people have it? Would you wish that they made Avenge? Is it exciting enough? And check out Logan's article because I think he does a good job of, putting some of these thoughts into like ride feel and what it's like to ride this bike. And I think he's doing a great. I think he has done a really good job on this. We also want to hear about women's cycling, and are we missing? Are these brands missing something? Yeah, I think that's about it. Everybody, thanks for joining us for my first host.
Yay! You did great. Good job.
Yes. All right, signing off, everybody.